Well, this is a fancy room. I want a giant super bath. And that much water just casually here in a fountain on a spaceship? It's not cheap.
A new challenge for me.
Hey, doesn't seem to be any lootables. Oh, hello, goods. You look like Mort. You look like the Lord Captain in a pile of blood. We'll check on you in a moment. Bizarre fragment hung on a trophy board. The light, smooth. I was not able to read that. The light, smooth surface of the object is dotted with dark spots and crumbling holes.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
I think we'll check out this room before we move on to other rooms. Should I? Part of me is afraid that after we examine them, it's going to kick us out. So maybe we should explore everything else first. Even though it seems strange to skip checking them, because that's what you would do first. Alright. What do we have here? Helmet of the Devoted Protector requires dogmatic follower. This helmet grants the wearer immunity to enemy critical hits for the first 3 rounds of combat. I think probably the only dogmatic we have is ourselves and Argenta. So let's collect that. Can I put this on, or does it, by it saying follower, does it mean it can't be worn by us? Nope, it definitely can. Okay, I'll take the immunity to critical hits for 3 rounds. Item of Conviction. You have found an item that can only be equipped by characters of certain conviction rank. You can open the character menu to see which convictions your character follows. Note that both your character and their companions have their own convictions. You can check what convictions a character adheres to on the Convictions tab in the character menu. Convictions change in direction and rank based on how the game's story develops and during important plot decisions. Rogue Trader's Cloak. +5 fellowship for each enemy in a 2-cell radius. I mean, I feel like I should wear that, but also fellowship is not my forte. Theodore's Rosary. The wearer of this amulet gains a +10 bonus to commerce and lore Imperium. Okay, so that... Where does this go? Okay, it fits here. So that will give me a bonus to fellowship if we're around enemies. But my fellowship is so trash. Commerce and lore Imperium. Lore Imperium's 30, commerce is 25. Fellowship 35, fellowship 30, fellowship 30. So probably should go to him. Looks good. And then for lore Imperium and what is it? Commerce. 40 and 30. 30 and 30. Commerce 30 and 35. So you for this one as well. Just to give boost to our stats for when our party has to do stat checks. The parlor organ seems to have been sitting idle for many years. Apparently she is not a organ player. The murder scene, it skipped through it before I could read it. That is a shame. Theodora von Valencius's body is sprawled on a large blood-drenched desk. The arch-militant's corpse, still clutching a weapon, is slumped against one of the bulkheads.
Emperor, accept thy faithful souls.
The Sister of Battle surveys the scene, her gaze lingering on the arch-militant's body.
No! Lord Captain, I didn't hear a thing. Not a whisper, not a breath. It was so loud. Why didn't I foresee this?
Deer's heartrending scream shakes the walls. She collapses to her knees, her body shuddering as she weeps. It's true, her job is to divine, to foresee events, dangers, etc. To not see that the Lord Captain was getting murdered. I mean, the warp intentionally was keeping her blind to what was happening.
Lord Captain, who would even dare? Unless that rat, Voidsphere.
Abelard, stunned, takes a few steps forward and leans heavily on the edge of the desk. His eyes are locked on Theodora's body. Almost certainly, he loathed Theodora. I doubt it. Voltveer wanted humiliation and suffering upon Theodora, not a swift death. Or say nothing. Both are good answers. Voltveer is the obvious culprit. He's the only one we know was actively against her. But I don't think we know enough to know if he would have killed her or if he... I'm thinking that number 2 is more likely, that Voltveer wished for a longer suffering humiliation on Theodora, and someone or something else has used this event to kill her. We don't really know.
It could have happened in the heat of battle. Not to mention that Mort was here, and he would have protected Lady Theodora to the last.
That's true, and someone got the best of him. He seemed quite capable.
How could Mort have failed her so terribly? The Arch-Militant was born on a death world. He had lightning-fast reflexes.
So whoever did it was someone that they trusted completely, or was so skilled they got the drop on them. Either way, I don't know. Doesn't seem like Voidveer.
I can look at things in my own way. If you find something that might bear the imprint of the killer, just give it to me, and I'll try to see what secrets it holds.
Adira sobs and gets up. She glances around, looking lost. Examine Theodora's body. Or do we save Theodora for last and examine the Arch-Militant first? Probably that. Our best clues are probably going to come from Theodora, so let's check out the Arch-Militant first. An auto pistol shot went straight through Mort's forehead, spraying the floor and the furniture around with blood, brain matter, and shards of his skull. The safety on the Arch-Militant's weapon is off. The killer must have been a split second quicker than he. Again, I don't think Voltveer is outdrawing Mort. Like, being quicker than Mort. Just doesn't feel likely. Theodora's body, let's check it out. You lean closer to the body. The cause of death is apparent. What ended the rogue trader's life was an auto pistol shot, an extraordinarily accurate one at that. Theodora's face bears the expression of surprise, the last emotion she experienced in life. Something on the floor catches your eye, a heap of blood-splattered parchments and scrolls that must have fallen off the desk. As you lean down for a closer look, you notice something else. Small shards of glass scattered on the floor. Adira, would you try touching Theodora? You might be able to see the killer through her eyes. Inspect the shards by the desk. Adira, what do these shards tell you? Inspect the papers. We'd best be on our way. Adira, try touching Theodora. Lady Theodora. you might be able to see the killer through her eyes. I doubt it works that way.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I can try to read the memories of objects, but dead bodies are a different story. Something like that would require her soul. And after what we saw on the officer's deck, I won't risk searching for it in the warp.
Fair. Adira's whole body shudders. I mean, you could argue that a dead body is just an object now, but it seems that's not the way it's being taken here. Let's check out this strange glass shard. It is difficult to say what exactly was broken. The object fell on the floor, and that is as much as you can ascertain. Upon closer examination, the shards appear iridescent rather than completely transparent, as if they had been submerged in promethium. Adira, what do these shards tell you?
I see streaks of color, luminescence, blue lights, faces drawing closer. Lady Theodora and Conrad and what is that? Ah! Something dark, enormous. Oh, this glass thing was something foul, that's for sure.
Adira scoops up a handful of the shards and clenches them in her fist with such strength that blood starts dripping on the floor. She shakes her hand, looking frightened. So there was something else here. Definitely wasn't just Kunrad. Something dark and enormous that was contained in the glass? This glass thing was something foul. Don't know.
Tainted witchcraft.
You cannot tell if Argenta's remark is directed at the glass shard or Adira herself. Well, that's mean. I'm gonna assume it's talking about the glass shard. Alright, let's check out the papers. Reports, accounts, dispatches. You go over the scrolls until you stumble upon a document that is starkly different from the rest. It is a handwritten letter signed with the initials XC and a seal with the symbol that is vaguely familiar to you. Handwritten letter with a seal. Oh, and we can read it. Esteemed Theodora, a change in circumstances has demanded your immediate assistance in our mutual cause. Forthwith, upon receiving this letter and performing the necessary preparations of the crew, you are to depart for Rykad system. One of my acolytes, interrogator Heinrich van Kalox, operates there at the present time. Upon your arrival in the system, you will, without delay, make contact with him and offer any assistance required of you, after which you will provide him passage to the Furibunda system aboard your ship. On footfall, the interrogator will remove himself from your presence to await further instructions. Anticipating any questions that you may have, I will stress that the nature of interrogator Van Kalox's activities on Rykad Minoris is of no concern to you. If required, Van Kalox himself will disclose the details of his mission. May the Emperor's light be with you, XC. Interrogator, I believe, is a rank of some renown in the Inquisition. My memory of how that plays out. So, when she said that she was commanded to go to the Rykad system, the Inquisition has commanded her to leave whatever deals she was dealing with to instead ferry around an interrogator in the Rykad system. Okay. So, regardless of what all plays out, now that Theodora is dead, presumably we're going to be the rogue trader, although it could be Edelthrad. But we probably need to still meet this appointment. Lord Imperium test succeeded, and sends a shiver down your spine. The author of this letter, addressed to Theodora van Valencia, signed it with the seal of one of the holy ordos of the Emperor's Inquisition, the secret police of the Imperium that relentlessly hunts heretics, xenos, and other enemies of humanity. Yeah. It's the Inquisition. We don't know which ordos. At least it doesn't specify whether it's heretics, xenos, or demons that are being hunted. But definitely Inquisition is commanding our vessel, and we're going to have to follow through on that. We'd best be on our way.
Yes, the crucible of battle calls to me once more.
Yep.
No, wait! We must see if we can find anything.
I mean, if there's anything else, go for it, but if not, we've got to get going and help out in the battle.
Idira, you can't bring her back. Let her go.
Abelard lays a hand on her shoulder.
You'd give up so easily, old man? I expected as much from the sister. It's not like she has a heart. But you? Oh no. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'll find the one responsible for murdering the Lord Captain. And when I do, that scum will regret the day they were born.
Whoever it is still on this ship, and that's something we need to keep in mind. Because it's possible they are specifically against Lady Theodora, but if they're just against the Von Valencius dynasty, then we're a target. The murder scene looks like something caught the victim by surprise. No one had time... why is this not showing up? No one had time to react to what was happening. Yeah, the fact that they got the drop on the rogue trader and Mort, who's a Death World soldier.
I won't tolerate weakness.
They definitely, yeah, whoever it was caught them majorly by surprise. Apparently we're not going out the door we came in. So are we going this way? Possibly here. Yes. Hello.
Don't you dare to cross us.
What do we have here? Combat Servitor, some heretics. Alright, Abelard, the four of us are first in initiative. That's neat. So the Servitor is half dead, but has 44 health still. That's problematic. Well, you be in front, Abelard. I'm going to take cover back here. Dira probably take cover there as well. And Argenta... go here, I suppose? Yeah. Light and medium armor. Armor protects the characters from incoming damage. Light and medium armor types are both available to you at the moment. The armor stat indicates what percentage of incoming damage from an enemy attack it can absorb. The type of armor also influences the chances that the character wearing it will pass a dodge test. The higher the dodge penalty, the lower the chance to dodge an enemy attack. The character in light armor dodges attacks more often, but takes more damage when hit. Medium armor absorbs more damage if the character is hit, but reduces their mobility and ability to dodge attacks. You have obtained heavy armor. Unlike light and medium armor, heavy armor provides the ability to deflect damage. Deflection is a unique heavy armor stat that reduces damage taken by a specific flat amount, so damage reduction. Heavy armor has a higher armor rating than medium and light armor, but also usually has a higher dodge penalty, making it harder to dodge an enemy attack while wearing it. Only characters with heavy armor proficiency talent can wear heavy armor, which I assume we do not have. So where did we suddenly get some heavy armor? We did not. Awesome. Alright, Abelard. Let's see. I could have him charge. So I'm thinking we could go here, and then we could get a cleave off on the two of them. But I also need to use charge so that I can... Does charge get rid of our movement afterwards? It does. So I need to move first and then... I could go here. Then use cleave to hit 2 of them. I'm trying to see how I can use cleave to hit this guy and one other. So go here, cleave them, and then charge to hit someone else. I think that's the plan. Oh, that does so little damage to this guy. 3 damage. What do we leave him alone and just try and take out some of these other guys? And hope that someone else has something that does real damage, because 3 damage is so little. I think that's my plan. We'll try and take out some of these other guys.
A tactically sound approach. Reduced to dust.
So then we can charge. Have to move at least 2. So I suppose charge to this guy.
It will be done.
Sure.
I took care of this one.
And then brace for impact.
Indeed.
It's a good first turn. There is veil degradation here. That's good to know, because that probably means that something warpy happened. One to 2 damage. Ew. What about if I used lightning? Oh, it does so little. I mean, we're hitting 4 enemies if we do that. That's certainly something, including killing that one off.
Suits my
Yeah, let's go
purposes.
for it.
Nothing of value has been lost.
This guy, though, has so much health.
Already done.
Alright, run and gun. We could use this to hit them again. That'll kill this guy, do more damage here, and then a little bit to him. We could instead just cast him on fire, but that does basically nothing still. Or I could pull out my gun. 0% chance to hit. Not good. No, I think using the staff and lightning is our best choice.
Opposing me was your biggest mistake.
We're down to just 3 enemies left, and they haven't even gotten a turn yet. Enemy status. You will encounter enemies with various abilities and features. An icon next to an enemy's portrait indicates that they are under the influence of some kind of effect. Right mouse on the effect's icon to see more details. If you wish to learn more about an enemy, right click on their portrait or the enemy themselves. Okay. So combat servitor, he was half dead at the start, so had 87 theoretically. Heavily damaged means the servitor is heavily damaged. Its damage, hit, chance, and wounds are greatly reduced. So this base enemy type, combat servitor, would destroy us. So to make the battle more fair, they're having it start damaged. Good to know. It has a thermal multi-melta. Is that a melta weapon? A gun? That hits an area attack. Oh, we are dead. Melta scorching area attack. 3 AP to reload. Reject the flesh. This creature gains +4 deflection, +40% armor, and suffers -20 to dodge. Yeah. It's not showing that it has deflection. Because it doesn't. It has reject the flesh, but then a -4 modifier for no obvious reason. So its deflection is 0. Then why is it taking so little damage? Is that just the 80% armor? Yikes. Alright, Argenta, what can you do? Pyrrhus Recital gives us some momentum, which we still haven't really figured out. how to use it. We could just go like right up front and then just... So if I went, say, here... Two to 3 damage from a bolter? Because part of me wants to try and hit both of them. Oh, definitely don't get Abelard in that. Because if I can take out everyone besides the combat servitor, so then we can all just focus fire on it, that feels good. So if you went here, then we're not at risk of actually hitting Abelard. That gives us a higher chance to hit it, and I like the idea of hitting 4 times rather than just once. Yeah, we're gonna go this route.
Rejoice in battle.
Hopefully we hit this guy and kill him. No? Well, we hit the servitor 3 times. Worthwhile.
As the Emperor commands.
Run and gun.
Act.
Yeah. Same thing? We'll go this route, put the 34% chance on the servitor. So we can go here 32 and 34, but it swings the other way. And I would rather us hit the servitor more.
Faith without deed.
Wow. You missed all 4 shots? I mean, well done, I guess. That has nearly gotten us the 175 for whatever that does. Dira. What can you do? Expose weakness. Yes. So we want to analyze enemies to give him 2 exploits.
Will do.
Then we could expose weakness to reduce their dodge, parry, and armor until the start of their next turn. The operative's next turn. So that removes the 2 stacks.
Or
So then we could Psychic Shriek and do some actual damage. Or if we did Lightning, could kill this guy but only do 4 there. No. Psychic Shriek on him, please.
will do.
There we go. Down to 19 health. We're getting there.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Okay. We're good. We're doing good. Combat log, we already know about it. We've been looking at it. So, hit the cover instead of Adira. Good. Back to Abelard. We could move forward and attack. Can he charge this turn? Yes, it's not like run and gun where he only gets to do 1 attack. So you go here, and then attack this guy,
My place is at the fore. 1 fewer target.
and then charge him. And then I guess endure, just because you can.
It will be done.
And that'll be your turn. Set him on fire, I think. 2 to 3 damage. If we switch back to our gun, 55% chance to do 2-3 damage. No. I would rather the 100% chance to do 2-3 damage. And lasting burning each turn. I guess step over here just to be sure you're behind cover. If you move away, does it get an attack of opportunity? I don't see any sort of icon claiming it will. So I'd rather it focus on Abelard than Argenta. But I also want to be able to do our big attacks. But as it stands, we're gonna actually hit our allies, probably. No, it's showing that no one else is in the line of fire. Just from here.
I'll do it.
4 health left. Okay, we're getting there. I don't understand the momentum. They'll explain it at some point. I'm going to stop talking about not understanding it. Analyze enemies.
Anything else?
Exploit weakness.
Of course.
And then Psychic Shriek again.
Anything else? What an unfortunate turn of fate.
Feeling of terror grips your heart. Okay, just a thing that happened. Feeling of terror grips your heart, but no explanation of why. And we leveled up again. Nice. So that gets us Firearm Mastery. The soldier gains the ability to make a number of extra attacks equal to their weapon's rate of fire, minimum 2, using the weapon's attack that normally costs the least AP. These attacks do not spend AP. Until the end of the soldier's turn, their first attack against each new enemy automatically scores a critical hit. The soldier immediately reloads their current weapon. Okay. And then we get a talent. Oh, this is going to take time to read through all the options. Camaraderie. For each adjacent ally, the soldier deals plus 8% more damage to enemies. Exploit surroundings. Cover efficiency is increased by 10% for full cover and 20% for half cover. So if we're staying in cover, we can be a lot safer. Fired up, whenever the soldier deals damage, their critical damage is increased by 1% until the end of combat. Rack and Ruin. After the soldier deals damage to 3 different enemies, the soldier gains a plus 16% more damage for their next attack in the current combat. Rapid Reload. Reloading costs minus 2 AP. Don't really care. Unpredictable. The soldier gains plus 7% critical chance. This bonus is doubled against enemies from which the soldier is protected by cover at the moment of attack. There's a lot of bonuses for stay in cover. Is Psi rating here? Is that something I want? What is the line blocking off different sections? Okay, we have Psi stuff. Is this all psychic stuff? Maybe. Yes. But probably those are what I actually want. Warp features? Okay. So Psychic Barrage, whenever the Psyker uses a damaging psychic power on targets that are 6 cells or further from the Psyker, the target suffers an additional 3 damage. So if we stay far away, we can do more damage. Cool. Character level 9 required, or character level 4 and a sanctioned Psyker. Each level of Psi rating provides the Psyker access to new psychic powers. It also strengthens damaging psychic powers. What are these requirements? Much higher levels. Well, I am definitely tempted to get a higher Psi rating. Blade of Light. Force weapons attacks deal +2 more damage and have 10% more armor penetration. And Force Reality. Usage of Heroic Act by the Psyker decreases Veil Degradation by -3. While the Psyker is not in the target's line of sight, the Psyker is in cover. All resistance tests of the Psyker suffer -8 penalty. The Psyker's psychic powers that have range of 2 cells or more have their range increased by 3. The first psychic power used each turn increases Veil Degradation by 2 points less. If this talent reduces the effect on Veil Degradation to less than 0, Veil Degradation is instead decreased by 1. Or Subtle Manipulation. The Psyker can use a damaging psychic power while being threatened by enemies in melee range without provoking attacks of opportunity. Non-damaging psychic powers do not provoke attacks of opportunity even without this talent. Or various fire-based powers. Okay. One of the psychic power used by the Psyker deals damage. A random enemy within 2 cells of the initial target suffers half this damage. Damage does not trigger this talent again. That's cool. Blazing Inferno. The Psyker's critical hit chance increases by 1% until the end of combat every time the Psyker deals damage by any means. Psyker deals +16% additional armor against fire damage and half this amount as additional armor against energy damage from las, melt, and plasma weapons. When the Psyker uses a psychic power, all enemies adjacent to the Psyker suffer 4 direct damage. Same also happens when the Psyker suffers damage from burning, bleeding, or melee attacks. Every time the Psyker kills or scores a critical hit against 8 creatures in one combat, the Psyker's next attack, including attacking psychic powers, will cost 0 AP and will not count towards the attack limit per turn. Kills or scores a critical hit against 8 creatures in one combat? Are we going to get in... I mean, presumably we're going to get into fights that are that large. Just feels like that's going to be a while. Every time an enemy suffers damage from the Psyker, that enemy's armor is reduced by 5%. The enemy's armor is already 0, their deflection is reduced by 1 instead. That's cool. Relentless Blaze. When the Psyker is burning, Psyker's Psi rating is increased by 1, and the Psyker's Resolve is increased by 2. Damage from fire no longer reduces the Psyker's momentum. So if we can get ourselves burning, presumably we can set ourselves on fire, then we're more powerful. I'd rather just raise my Psi rating. Or Sparks of the Greater Flame. All damage over time effects applied by the Psyker gain 10% critical hit chance. This chance is increased by all bonuses to critical hit chance. Yeah, all that's cool, but we're going to go with Psyker Minoris to get our Psi rating up by 1. So we gain this ability automatically, and then that will make us more powerful. Alright, Abelard, you get Daring Breach. The warrior immediately restores all AP and MP and gains +3 MP until the end of their turn. They do not lose their MP after performing attacks. The warrior has no limit on melee attack, weapon attacks this turn. Well, that's really cool. And then you have way too many options. Whenever an enemy attacks the warrior's next melee attack against that enemy deals an additional 5 damage. Whereas melee attacks deal an additional +3 damage to enemies that have no allies in adjacent cells. I'm assuming adjacent includes diagonals, not just the direct or adjacent cells, probably. Whereas critical damage is increased by 8% against enemies not armed with a melee weapon. Warrior has less than 50% wounds, they gain 13% hit chance. Whenever the warrior is attacked, they gain +1 stack of Epicenter of Slaughter until the end of combat. At the start of their turn, the warrior gains +1 temporary wounds for each stack. These temporary wounds cannot exceed 5. So if you're attacked regularly, you can start getting 5 temporary wounds every round. Warrior gains +1 damage deflection. Their parry chance is increased by 25% of the warrior's total armor. That's good for staying alive. Cautious disengage. Clenched teeth. Defensive stance is cool, but ideally the warrior is attacking every turn. Field medic he already has. Okay. So if we charge farther with this one, we do a lot more damage. There's so many options. Increase charge distance by 3 cells. That's pretty good as well. Also good. So these are his bonuses for being an Imperial World character. I don't know what characteristic he chose for humanity's finest. Because this would boost all of our allies, gaining +5. I don't think it matters. It's not what I'm going to choose. Brace for impact. What was that one? Don't know. All allies affected by brace for impact do not suffer the negative effects of melee superiority. All allies affected by brace for impact. Again, what is brace for impact? How can I know? Because it's not showing up as one of the things we have here. But obviously it's something he has. Here we go. For 1 round, the Navy officer and their allies in a 3-cell radius gain +2 deflection for each archetype taken by the Navy officer. Meh. So that would make that ability get a bonus for that 1 round. Eh. Then we can boost skills. Aldari weapon proficiency. That's a cool thing to see there. He does have a chain sword now. Chain weapon attacks gain +4 maximum damage. not just +4 damage, it just means the top range is increased. Characteristic training, only a +5. Probably not. Dual weapon combat, dueling mastery, flame weapon, grenadier. Will not die. Las melee weapon specialist. The sweep ability of an axe and the shove ability of a hammer or mace cost 1 AP less. We're not using either of those. 10% bonus to dodge. Power weapons are cool, if we ever find one. 2 more movement. There were way too many options there. And I've already forgotten half of them. I'm actually kind of thinking contempt. He gets attacked a lot. Doesn't mean their attack has to hit. If they just attack him, then his next attack against them gets +5 damage. Ideally, every turn he would be getting +5 damage to someone. Which I like. There's probably better choices, but that's the one that calls out to me at the moment. Yeah. Alright. Thera. It immediately inflicts 1 exploit on all enemies in combat, then makes a free attack against a target. That attack always hits. Until the end of combat, the target of this attack suffers a -30 penalty to dodge and a -30 penalty to armor. So if there's a specific boss we're trying to take down, when she uses this, guaranteed her attack will hit, which it probably will anyway because she's a psyker. As her primary ability, she's not using gun as a backup. But the -30 to dodge and -30% to armor for the rest of the combat would be good. Now we get to this. So as a operative, whenever the operative attacks an enemy that is at full wounds, the attack deals 14% more damage. Okay. Suppose weakness costs 0 AP. Meh. Whenever the operative triggers an exploit on an enemy, the operative gains +1 damage and +2 armor percent penetration until the end of combat. Only applies to the first strike or projectile in a burst attack. Weak body, weak soul. Expose weakness also reduces enemies' toughness and willpower by -9 for 1 round. Or I can go with her psychic stuff. She does not have the option of Psyker Minoris because she's not a sanctioned psyker, so she has to wait till level 9 to get another psi rating. But I could pick up more psychic options. Are these all psychic stuff? No. At the beginning of every combat, the Psyker's allies gain 15% critical hit chance. The first critical hit removes this effect. No. Allies under the effect of at least 1 psychic power gain an additional 7% armor penetration. She's probably going to be using that psychic ability that she has, whatever it was called. I don't remember. Forewarning on someone basically every turn. So this would give whoever has that 7% armor penetration, which isn't nothing. No, none of that seems terribly important. So these are a lot of mental damage. Which of your abilities count as mental damage? Psychic Shriek mental damage? Doesn't say so, it just says it does damage. So I don't think I want to go with any that are focused on specifically doing mental damage. I like this. Whenever the Psyker kills an enemy with a psychic power dealing more damage than the target's wounds, the excess damage will be dealt to the enemy closest to the target. She should be doing lots of excess damage and has regularly done lots of excess damage because as an operative, she gets to stack her weaknesses and exploits so that her attacks do a lot more damage. And so if she overkills an enemy, channeling that damage to another enemy, it's pretty good. It's definitely a strong maybe. Every 6th use of a psychic power by the Psyker causes all enemies to get a stacking -5 penalty. It's not nothing as well. And these are more Psyker abilities. Psychic Barrage is also good here. Reducing her Veil Degradation also wouldn't be a bad call. Every Perils of the Warp increases momentum by 12. Again, we don't really know how to use momentum yet, but intentionally triggering Perils of the Warp in order to gain momentum is definitely a crazy strategy. I think I'm going to go with Pain Channeling so that overkilling an enemy moves that damage to another enemy. Lastly, Argenta. You are a straight soldier, so our focus is just on killing things. So Yeah. Every time you deal damage, your critical damage is increased by 1% until the end of combat. That could stack up pretty quick. If she's doing, 4 shots with her bolter every turn, potentially every other turn, she's also doing run and gun to do another 4 shots. If most of those hit, she would be getting pretty good critical damage. Reloading costs less AP, don't care. Flat 8% critical hit chance that doubles to 16 if you're protected by cover feels like it could be better than fired up. But she only has to do damage 8 times to beat the base critical hit chance. This would be better in smaller combats versus the fired up would be better in larger combats, and I'm more scared of larger combats. Fired up is definitely where I'm leaning. I'm kind of just going to skip all of these that are not the recommended options. Although combat Medicae, healing an ally with a Medicae kit in combat restores additional wounds equal to Medicae divided by 10. No, probably not. Just wondering if there are options for keeping our people alive that's better. All the soldiers' area attacks gain 17% armor penetration and ignore 2 deflection when used against enemies in a 3-cell radius. So if we got her up front to attack, she could just destroy heavily armored enemies. Also a good choice. More damage against xenos. Interesting. So these are all about being able to better fight demons, xenos, etc. The devotee gains a 3% chance to ignore any enemy attack. That could be good. Generally, probably not. Bolt weapons gain 10% armor penetration. She's probably going to always use a bolter. Because she's a sister of battle. I think I like fired up though. Just constantly be increasing her critical damage every time she does damage to any enemy. We'll go with it. May not be the best, but those seem like good level ups. Alright. Let's loot everyone. Las pistol, probably not. What about you? Grace of the Oblivious. The wearer gains +5 toughness if their intelligence is less than 35. We'll see who that's good for. Who needs toughness and has low intelligence? Well, I have low intelligence. Abelard also has low intelligence. Giving you more toughness is good. And we've already looted everyone. Hey. I was kind of wanting to get to the end of whatever is going on, because I still feel like we're getting close to the end. But we are well beyond my usual stopping point. So I'm gonna call it quits here. And next time we play, which will be next week, we will step onto the voidship bridge and see what is happening. So I will see you all then. I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah, see you next time.